Hello, YouTube friends. It has been a while since I did this type of series, direct to YouTube type dealio, and I want to get back to kind of what I started with in Smite when I started my YouTube and I started all this stuff. I really was focused on making guides and trying to help people be better at the game, and it kind of transitioned a little bit into like making full content videos on people so they could watch games and so they could watch highlights and silly things and crazy things, and I'm still going to do all those, but I want to get back to my roots of just helping people with builds or maybe certain characters or how to level and warding locations and objective type stuff and all that dealio. So I want to get back into it with a very basic video to help you support players out there, or in general for anybody that gets thrown into the support role, whether it be in casuals or ranked. Everybody ends up there at some point, and a lot of times people don't even know what to do. So this video is simply going to cover the very, very basics of the immediate start to your build and why you're going to do that immediate start to your build. So for support, you are literally 100% of the time, don't worry about it. This is going to be your starting build coming out of the fountain. You're going to get Watcher's Gift. You're going to get tier 1 boots. And then you're going to get an assortment of potions. Now, if you don't go out and put a ward at level 1, that's okay. You don't always have to, but you can. If you don't put out a ward, you're going to be able to get 4 of each potions, or 5 and 3. For most characters, you're going to want to go 5 health potions and 3 mana potions. A couple exceptions, Sylvanas, you may even want to go 3 health, 5 mana. Guan Yu, I would go 4 and 4. So you'd want to factor that in. But for most characters, you're going to need the health a lot more than you're going to need the mana, especially with the regen that you're getting with Watcher's Gift. With the Watcher's Gift, the reason why you get it over every other item, a lot of new players to support love to get the Mark of the Vanguard at a very basic level. They see it, they go, oh, it's tanky, it gives me more health, I take less damage. Great. Well, while it's actually not a bad item, it's actually usually not a bad item when you're running a Guardian in the solo lane. We've seen people playing Kabrakan actually in the SPL pulling out things like Mark of the Vanguard. But for support, what you really need from this Watcher's Gift is 2 things. 1, it gives you 4 bonus gold for not getting last hits, which is great. You give the last hit to your ADC, so they get the full gold from that. Of course, I'm remaining idle. And then you get 4 bonus gold for not getting it, so just bonus gold period. And even more important than that is the plus 10 health and mana for every last hit you don't get. So that way, every wave, you're healing upwards of 60 health and 30 mana every single wave, just pure sustain coming from that, and then it gives you, the other things, but that's what's most important. That's what you're starting on every sport all the time. Don't worry about it. For your level 1 active, you're going to have a couple options here on support. The most popular options right now are, for the most part, sprint and weakening. If you're going against a very aggressive composition, or if you are an aggressive composition, I recommend the weakening. So if you are or they're going to go weakening, I should say. If you're a Sobek, or if you're, what else is super aggressive? Even a Kabrakan in lane, anything that's going to be able to be looking for kills, a lot of the times you're going to want to go to the weakening curse. It's either going to force out an opponent's beads on a weakening curse, which is great because then you can CC him to death, or they're going to have to use an active themselves, like a Heavenly Agility, to get out of there, or you simply kill them. If you're going against an aggressive comp, you want to assume they're going to have the Weakening Curse, and you're going to want to get the Heavenly Agility. It's really all you can do for your ADC to counter it. Otherwise, they're going to have to beads, and you don't want them to beads a Weakening Curse, because you want them to have beads up in case they get Khepri pulled, Athena taunted, any form of Guardian CC that will be coming out onto your Hunter. So make sure you get the Heavenly Agility to counter that. Couple exceptions. Very rarely you end up getting either Meditation or Beads at level 1 or Blink. Guan Yu, Sylvanas kind of like to get that Meditation, just bonus healing on top of your healing. Of course, you've got to be careful there. If you go Meditation and the enemy goes Weakening Curse, your Meditation's going to suck and you're not going to get the heal from it. Plus, you're not getting your own heal. You're going to die. Got to be very careful. Beads, if you're going against a composition that's a kill Guardian comp, one of the biggest ones is Sobek and Willix. If they have a Sobek and Willix, you're probably just going to need to get beads because you're going to need to beat the Willix pull every single time. If they have an Ares and you don't, for some reason, think you're going to have your ultimate up for CC immunity, you might need to get beads for the Ares. Or if you think for some reason you're going to get pushed out of lane, they're going to hit 5 first, he's going to blink on you, ult you, you're not going to have your ultimate up in time to be CC immune, get the beads. And blink if you're on a certain god that you feel like you're going to make it out of laning phase with no problem. If you're on Ares and you want that for team fights, if you're maybe on Geb or Sylvanas, you will have opportunities, but for the most part you're looking at sprint or weakening depending on, are you going to be aggressing with weakening, or are you going to get aggressed on, in which case you need the heavenly. That's actives. And the last thing we're going to cover here in this video is what boot do I go into / do I get a boot? So there's really 3 options that you have right now as a support. Pen boots and cooldown boots, really not great options right now for support. Yes, it'll work in your casual games. Yes, it'll work in ranked games. I play it quite frequently in ranked. But if you want to mimic what professional supports are doing in SPL as close as you can, you're going to have 3 options: tank boots, Talaria boots, or winged blade. So let's talk about when you'll be getting those 3. First up, reinforced shoes. The big reason why people pick up these reinforced shoes is going to be health and crowd control reduction. The magical power is pretty irrelevant. Everything's pretty much giving the same movement speed for the most part. So why are we getting reinforced shoes? It's that health, 150 bonus health right off the bat is actually super nice, especially earlier in the game. It's going to be a pretty significant percentage of your health bar increase. And the 30% CCR is really why you're getting this. So if you're against a team that has super heavy in the CC department, if you're a support that has to initiate and you're worried about getting CC'd before you're going to get your initiation off, so maybe you're not a blink character, right? Like a blink Sylvanas, you're pretty much going to blink and get your ultimate off no matter what, right? But you're on Athena and you have to dash in and then taunt, and you're worried that when you dash in, you're going to get stunned by somebody and then counter-rooted, and really you're like, oh, I'll never get my taunt off. Well, you can go the CCR boots here with the reinforced shoes. You barely get CC'd at all. It's 30% CCR, which is right by the cap. You only can have 40% total. So you're getting yourself right up towards that caps with one single item, and then you can go ahead and get your initiations off. Your other option, Talaria boots, which is traveler shoes here for Guardians. Talaria for, I don't know why they have different names for, they do the exact same flipping thing, you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, point being, you get 14% additional movement speed when you're out of combat, as well as 25 HP at 5 while out of combat with these boots. They give the same 20 magical power, and they give the 18% movement speed. So you don't get the health and you don't get the CCR. So why are you getting these? 2 reasons. One, you're getting these for quick rotations. These are pretty popular boots actually on Ares. Ares rotate around the map, just looking for pulls around the map. Maybe rotate over to the solo lane. If you chain the solo laner, perhaps they're going to die. Any god as well that you're looking to get AoE attacks on are pretty common. So the biggest thing about Talaria boots outside of the bonus movement speed is that you get 30 gold for every god that you hit every 90 seconds. So you can hit each god on the map on an individual 90-second timer. So you hit the Apollo, and then you rotate to mid, and you hit their Janus, and then you go into the jungle, and you hit their Wheelix. Well, that's bonus 90 gold just because you were hitting people, and then all of their timers are counting down, and then you can hit them again every minute and a half to get more gold. These boots will get you more gold than your enemy support, period. Basically, with these boots as well, it allows you to have the leeway to, if you die or get picked off once or twice, you'll still be fine in the gold department just because you're moving around the map getting a little bit more farm than the enemy, period, because you're able to get from point A to point B faster out of combat. And on the way there, you might snag somebody, you just do a Geb knockup, and you hit 2 people in the mid lane while you're clearing the wave. Or you Athena, and you do your shield wall, and then you throw your spear and you hit somebody just for the 30 gold anyway. A lot of options like that to look towards, and that's basically why you'd want to get those. If you want to get a little bit of a gold lead, because you get the gold lead, maybe you get your Salve a little bit early. Congratulations, you got your Salve. Okay, now you need to get your Heartwood a little bit early. All that kind of good stuff. Not quite as aggressive as the reinforced shoes in terms of just going into the middle of a fight. More about rotations. And our final option here is not a boot at all. It is going immediately into Wingblade. So what are the pros and cons of Wingblade? Biggest pro is that holy moly bajolies, you get a lot of health. You get CCR. Not as much CCR as reinforced greaves, but still 20%, which is great. You only get 10% movement speed, but you have boots 1 already, so it's okay. So you're still going to have about 18%, which means you're going to have 16%. So you're only 2% short of having normal boots, which is not a big deal at all. But most importantly, you get attack speed. Who cares? Unless you're on Ymir, it's really irrelevant. The reason why you get wing blades is because of the passive. When you're hit by a slow, instead of being slow, you get immune to slow, and your movement speed's increased by 20% for 4 seconds, and it can proc every 30 seconds, so it procs a lot. This will be a little bit more expensive than going straight into boots. If you look at your boot options, the most expensive is pen boots at 1300, and you're just looking at the cheaper ones, 1150, 1100. The wing blade's going to set you back a full 1850. This means you will be getting to your core items a little bit slower, whether it be Sovereignty, Heartwood Amulet, Hide of the Urchin, whatever it may be. So that is a downside. But the real reason why you're getting this item is against super, obviously, slow-heavy comps, or against very specific gods that destroy support if you don't have this item. Number one, namely who you're probably seeing a little bit more often now, being Nemesis. If you're going against a Nemesis as a support player, it's really heavily favored to go this wing blade route, because if you don't go wing blade, you're going to get ultied on cooldown and you're going to be in a whole bunch of trouble, because she's taking away 50% protections at level 1, not to mention she has 2 forms of slow, and you're going to be a sitting duck as a guardian with no protections. So you get this wing blade. If she ults you, you just walk right on out with your increased movement speed, and she can't slow you with their secondary slow on her 2 for 4 seconds, which means you should be able to walk right out scot-free. A couple other big cases. You may not see so much Arachnes, but Arachne actually destroys support with her webbing. Great item to get against her. A couple others that you can think of as well. But for the most part, get it against heavy slows, comps, or those very specific gods that you know are going to camp you and kill you, like Nemesis. So guys, that was just a quick little tutorial here on some of the reasonings on what you want to be doing at the very, very start of the game for support. I'm hoping to get these videos out once a week, twice a week if we're pushing it, but probably just once a week. Going over generic things, you know, little build intros, maybe what you're looking for in the mid game, your core build, situational late game, warding locations, where to stand for objectives, all kinds of cool stuff coming out, guys. I'm hoping to get back towards these tutorial-like videos. Hope you guys learned something here today, or maybe you knew some of this stuff, but it kind of reiterated, kind of like, hey, I actually am doing the right thing. But thank you guys for watching the video, and please, if you want to support the channel, you can like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Subscribing is a great way to help support the channel. Thank you for watching, and always have a twitching day, y'all.